First Children of Yahweh news, January the 3rd, 2018. I just finished my first video on real relationships, but God put in my spirit to make another video today, directly to the African American community, to my brothers and sisters, um, African Americans, Latinos, Hispanics in America. Um, I had heard an interesting sermon this morning and talked about how that there's spirits, demonic spirits over every race in this world that has attached themselves to each race. I'm not going to get into the demonic spirits on every race, excuse me, but I truly believe that I'm called to the lost sheep of Israel, who are, the physical descendants of the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, who are people of color all over the world, who have been brought all over the world, who've lost their identity due to their rebellion against the ways of the Most High, and they no longer know who they are. So they're therefore lost. And for African Americans, for people of color, we are truly lost. Our identity, we don't know our identity is in Yeshua. We don't know who Yahweh created us to be, and that we're supposed to be a light in a dark world instead of being many times a darkness in the world through our many sins, and due to the spirits out above us. In many ways, one of the spirits that we are under, due to being under physical slavery, is we're still under a spirit of slavery and captivity. However, it's no longer physical, but it's mental and spiritual. We are under slavery to hip hop music and materialism and narcissism and misogyny and the idea that all about money and being fly and fancy clothes and fancy cars, and we celebrate drug dealers as heroes. So we're under that type of slavery to money, to trying to keep up with the Joneses. This is something that is real Pacific. And while these are spirits that affect all people, these are spirits that are real Pacific and more prevalent within the Black community, within our entertainment and culture systems. We're still enslaved to the idea of white supremacy and racism. We anytime the news, which is controlled by the devil, our media, social media, tells us the white man or the police or the world's against us, we believe it. We're enslaved to these ideas and thoughts, which hold us in bondage. We still are controlled by the system, and we're still consumers. We're still producers, but like the Bible says in Deuteronomy 28, we do work, but we do so much work. We built this country, but we haven't reaped the benefits. It's not because people are just so evil and they were just oppressed for no reason. It's because of us being under a curse for our rebellion against Yahweh that continues in full force today. We call the things of Yahweh in the Bible the white man's religion, and we need to get in. There's a movement of black consciousness, and you go back to our black roots and in Egypt, and all these are demonic things. It was the Egyptians who first enslaved the Israelites. So we're gonna go back to that, and that's exactly what it is, slavery. We're still under mental slavery. We're also under a spirit of pride and rebellion, where we're all black people can do no wrong, and we need black pride and black power, and anything you do to a black person is racism, and we've been oppressed with all these, and it's a spirit of this pride, where we will go out there and tear down stuff and yell and scream, and feel like we deserve this and we deserve that and all this. It's a spirit of pride, and the Bible says that pride cometh before the fall. It's something that as a people that we need to reject and turn from. White pride, black pride, it's all evil, and we need to turn from it. in the spirit of rebellion, where we rebel against all authority, we break the law, and we feel like we should have immunity for it. I mean, look, I remember that whole Michael Brown foolishness, where he obviously committed a crime, and whether the police officer knew he committed a crime or not, he knew in his heart he committed a crime, and he thought he was going to go to jail for it. So he fought the officer off, and it ended up with him being killed. And but yet, this people want to do a Martin Luther King speech and protest and all this hands up, don't shoot foolishness. It's just a lie, and it's like woe to those who call evil good and call good evil. And that's the time that we're living in. And many black people, especially even the black preachers and churches, get behind this whole black empowerment movement. And the Bible says in the last days where people will find ministers to tickle their ears and tell them the things they want to hear. And however, the only way that the black community is ever going to be changed is through following the laws of Yahweh. Once He returns. If we're not going to turn back now, and unfortunately, 2/3 of blacks are actually going to die during the tribulation period. They're going to be hunted down and killed because they're gonna fall for the traps of the Antichrist and the devil, and they've been primed for it. And race has been a huge tool of the devil, especially in these last days, to deceive people. Race got an evil person like Obama elected. Race caused people to want to try to take down Trump. And you have to understand is that God, for His own reasons, appoint leaders and kings. But and He allows things to occur. But we're in the judgment, and don't think that white people who enslaved us, or who and Jews and Arabs, there's none that's righteous. There's none. We live in a world that's full of sin, and that's the biggest issue we have is sin. It's not of race or color or anything like that, but it's an issue of sin that we have. And it's been, especially in the black community, a spirit of poverty, a spirit of rejection, a spirit